Ariel has sacrificed her human legs to get revenge on Ursula. Avenge yourself, girl. So I'm starting this look by concealing all of my blemishes and any redness on my face. That way I have a nice even canvas for the face paints that I'll be using. The first face paint I'm using is this water activated silver paint, and then I realized I forgot to flatten my brows down with some glue sticks, so I'm just doing that there and then drying it with a blow dryer. So I'm just going to cover my entire face, lips, ears, neck, and chest, as well as my shoulders with this silver paint. And I do change my mind 4 or 5 times throughout this video. I will point that out to you when I'm doing it, but for now I'm just going to cover all of those areas in silver paint and then dry it with a blow dryer. Then I'm going to be using this white water activated paint to highlight the high points of my face, my collarbones, and the high point of my neck as well. Now the important thing to remember when you're using water activated paints, if you're going to layer them, you need to make sure each layer is dry in between, because if you put a wet paint on top of the dry paint, the water is just going to make it disappear. It disappears with water. So next I'm taking some fishnet pantyhose and I cut off the legs and I cut a hole in the crotch. Then I'm going to take one of the feet parts from one of the legs I cut off and stretch it over my head so that I look like a bank robber. Next I'm taking a green water activated paint, and this is like a metallic light green, and I'm going to get this all over my cheeks, my forehead, and my chin. And I'm just using like an art store sponge to apply this. I just thought it was a really easy way to do it. And then I'm taking this blue metallic water activated paint, and I'm going to go over any areas that I would normally contour with beauty makeup. So cheekbones, forehead, chin, and then a little bit on my nose also. And then of course dry in between with a blow dryer. This is the NYX shadow in the color Mermaid. It's a really pretty iridescent green, and I'm going to set the water activated paints with this green shadow on the green paint. And then I don't show you the shadow here, but I'm using the shadow Unicorn from Anastasia Beverly Hills to set all of the blue areas. Now with this flat brush, another product I don't show you, it's just a pigment from Sugar Pill called Lumi, and it is a teal reflect. I'm going to tap that over the top of all of the green, and this glitter as well is going to go over the top. This is just a teal reflects glitter from Violet Voss. And then when you're done doing that, you'll want to very carefully peel it up, and you can see by leaving the fishnet in one place the entire time until I finished all those colors, it's going to make really clean lines versus trying to hold it on my face the entire time and hold it in one spot. So now I'm going to take the crotch area of the pantyhose and put it over my body in a way that makes the most sense, I guess. And then this area, this is one of the points where I changed my mind. I just put random patches of color all over my chest and neck. Now for the blue scales, I'm taking this large glitter. It's just large chunks of glitter, and I was just haphazardly putting them on the blue scales, but then I realized it looked better if I had a bit more of a method. So I just put some spirit gum down and then use this little brush to pop one large piece of glitter in each blue scale. Then of course we are an evil undead mermaid, so we need some menacing brows. So I'm drawing my brows straight up and out toward my temples. And this is just a blue pencil from NYX. It's a jumbo pencil. And then I'll just use a winged liner brush just to kind of clean up those lines and then set it with a powder. Next we're going in with some eyeshadow. So I was priming my eyes there with a paint pot. And we're going to be using some dark colors, lots of grays, lots of blacks, so you just want to use whatever colors you have to make you look the most undead. So I used some medium browns and some grays, and now I am packing this gel liner all over my lid into this wing shape. And then of course I'll get just a little bit on my lower lash line as well, because we need to be glamorous. After all, we are a Disney princess, even though we are undead. And then of course you'll just want to do a little bit of blending, and then when you're blending on the lower eye area, you'll want to bring that down into like a circle, dark circle shape. Really want to enhance that orbital area. And then this part I couldn't really do without laughing, because you kind of have to do the butthole face. But you just basically want to take some shadow and buff it over your lips while they are scrunched up. That's another thing I changed my mind on, was my lips. I changed my mind 3 times on my lips. So I'm just carving out my contours just a little bit more with that same gray shadow that I used under my eyes. And then I'm going to create a furrowed brow. That way I look very concerned and upset for the remainder of this video, even though my brows stay perfectly still. And you can do that by doing a little bit of shadowing, using some grays, some blacks, and just enhancing the lower eye area there just a little bit. So what I did is scrunch my forehead up so I could see where my natural forehead creases were, and then basically just threw some shadow in those creases. Now I'm going back to the neck and chest area because I couldn't make up my mind. I had an idea in my head of what I wanted to do, but putting it together was a little bit more difficult with these pantyhose, and having nobody to hold them for me was also difficult, so I clipped them to my ears. That doesn't hurt, unless you a bitch. I'm just kidding, it kind of hurt by like the 10 minutes that it took to paint this on myself. So definitely, if you're using water-activated paints, grab a blow dryer, have somebody help you. It will cut your process time down a lot. This video took 6.5 hours to film, so see, my ears. Yeah, this video took 6.5 hours to film just because I was doing everything by myself. If you have a helper, or if you're doing this on somebody else, it should go much more quickly, especially if you use a blow dryer. So here you can see I'm just packing some of that blue metallic paint on the hollows of my collarbone and neck, and then hollowing that out even more with some darker blue shadows. And then I think I used some black in there as well. Yes, a little bit of black. Just basic shadowing techniques. You guys have seen that in my prior videos, but... So I put my hair in some victory rolls because I thought it was the best way to make my hair kind of look like a crown, like I'm the queen of the Undead sea. So here I changed my lips once again, and I was watching a video which I thought was hilarious, but I changed my lips again, wasn't happy with it, so I was trying to devise a new plan. So I just put some mascara on my top lashes and then green mascara on my bottom lashes. It ended up looking kind of yellow, but I thought it looked pretty cool, so I left it. Then I'm taking these little blue sticky jewel things and just putting those in a bit of a staggered pattern around my cheekbones and my forehead on the blue scales. And you totally don't have to do the jewels. I was just kind of doing the most. And just make sure you smell your pits, you know, make sure you're smelling fresh. And I had a bunch of those jewels left, so I just decided to stick them anywhere. Next I took this royal blue colored water-based paint and used the fishnets to create some scales on my arm. And then last minute I decided to take some liquid latex, saturate my fingertips, and then take some cotton balls and kind of pull them apart and then stick them on the ends of my fingers. Kind of like, you know, when you're a kid and you stick olives on the tips of your fingers. Just stick them all on there like that. Then completely saturate them with latex and start pulling them outward to make creepy fingertips. And we're going to paint those completely blue. I initially started painting scales on them with the fishnets, and then I hated that. And then I decided to change my lips, like mid-scene here. I just took the same NYX jumbo pencil from my eyebrows and used that on my lips. I just thought it looked a little bit more undead than the black that I had before. But then I did dust a little gray shadow around my lips. Then once my latex fingers dried, I painted them blue and added some teal pigment. And next I'm taking real seashells. And I'm going to use some spirit gum to stick those onto myself as if they were like barnacles, like I've been under the sea for a really long time. So I'm going to stick those on my shoulders and my neck. And I thought that this just kind of added a cool effect. And then one right in the middle just for good measure. And that is it. Now you look creepy and glamorous simultaneously. Don't forget to click like and subscribe on this video, you guys. I will see you in the next one.